This shit just makes me so mad because she was brave enough to go and share her story, brave enough to call out bullshit. She was brave enough to stand up against a very powerful and very loved man. And y'all are still putting her down. And it's not just men who are putting it down, it is also women. I got into a whole conversation with some woman on Twitter who was like, well, why didn't she leave? And I explained it to her. I explained the fight, flight, or freeze to her. And she started to understand it a little bit. And she was like, you're right, I shouldn't be judging her. But at the same time, I would still leave. Okay, great. That's great that you would find a way to leave. That's great that you would fight back. That's great, maybe. And actually, they tell you not to fight back because that can escalate the situation further. Like actual, what's it called? Like sexual abuse hotlines, etc. Like people who do this for a living and like analyze this tell you not to fight back because the situation may escalate further. And we all know stories about a woman getting acid thrown in her face because she said no to someone because they wanted to sleep with her or take her out on a date. She's like, no, thank you. And he just went, shh, or stabbed her or killed her. This is all in the news. Google it. So I just don't understand why people are angry with her for the way that she chose to handle the situation. I'm just glad she's alive. And I'm glad that she's being brave enough to speak out. And I'm angry at people for judging her and for telling her she did the wrong thing. And they're not even talking about him. They'll make comments on these posts and everything, and they'll only talk about her. They won't say anything about him. Or they'll say, what he did was wrong, but there is no but. There is absolutely no but. And if you don't understand that, you should not be fucking. Jessica Valenti said something that was great, and I'm going to go ahead and read it for you. It says, a lot of men will read that post about Anziz Ansari and see an everyday reasonable sexual interaction. But part of what women are saying right now is that what the culture considers normal sexual encounters are not working for us and oftentimes harmful. And she's completely correct in that sentiment. So whether you agree or not, the fact of the matter is it's hurting women and it's hurting people everywhere. So this kind of behavior just needs to stop. Okay, I hate to use analogies because I really shouldn't take analogies to understand this. But let's say hypothetically, right? You're hungry, you haven't eaten all day, you finally get a nice big plate of food, like a nice juicy burger with some melted cheese just oozing down the sides and a plate of fries, right? You finish your burger, you've saved your fries for last. Your significant other or whoever comes and is like, hey, can I have some fries? And you're like, no, I don't want to share it. Like, I've been hungry and I love these fries. This is the only time I'm going to get to eat it for a long time. Okay, fine, whatever. She asks 2 minutes later, can I have your fries? You're still like, no, you can't have my fries. Now there's only 5 fries left at this point. She goes, can I have the last of your fries? You say, no, I don't want to share with you. These are my fries. I want to eat them. And she continues to ask you, and you eventually say, fine, have my fries. And she eats the fries. Are you not still pissed off because you didn't want to give her your fries in the first place? Now, I know that's a very weak analogy. I tried to find one online, but I couldn't find it. If I find one later, I'll put it in the description box as well. But you know that feeling where you got pressured into saying yes, but you didn't want to. And you know you didn't want to. But you just ended up saying yes anyway. Either to shut them up or get it over with or just for whatever reason. If you can understand that sentiment, then you should be able to understand how women in her position feel. Being pressured into saying yes is coercion, and that is not consent. Plain and simple. And if you're watching this video thinking, well, everyone's just going to accuse me of sexual assault and just raping women left and right, we can't even hug women anymore, then just plain and simple ask for consent. Hey, can we? Do you want to? Are you DTF? Like, it's really not that hard. And if you're really that afraid, it makes me wonder, what have you done in the past that wasn't consensual? Think about that. It just pains me today that this is still discussion, and I was so proud and happy that the hashtag #MeToo movement was starting and people were standing in solidarity with other women and people were comfortable enough to speak out and we were calling out all these Hollywood men. But now that it's someone that we thought was on our side and someone who was supporting women has now done the unimaginable thing, now people want to question her and blame her and say that it's her fault for not reacting the way that you thought she should or you think she should. But no one knows how they're going to react until they're put in that situation. Like I said, before I was assaulted, I was definitely the kind of person who was like, nah, I'm a swing. I'm gonna get it. Like he's gonna have a black eye by the time I walk out that room. But when it came down to it, that fear was just so paralyzing that I didn't know what to do, and I just waited. And regardless of her reactions, we should not be spending time criticizing her. We should be spending time criticizing him and educating people on the different types of consent. And that consent means that a yes is present, an enthusiastic yes. No, maybe. No, I don't know. No, I'm not sure. And silence, those are not consent. None of them are. Being pressured into sex is not consent or anything sexual. People also seem to think that it's just rape and nothing else. There's sexual assault. There's sexual harassment. Rape is defined as forcible penetration, whether it's in the genitalia area or the mouth or wherever. That is considered rape. Everything else that is still sexual counts as sexual assault. For some survivors, they like to just categorize everything as assault because they don't like saying the word rape. Like I honestly don't. So I'm not going to watch this video back, and I'm not going to edit it heavily because I don't want to hear myself talk about this. But I'm saying it for the purpose of hoping to educate some of y'all. A lot of you guys are on college campuses. There's a very strong hookup culture on college campuses, and that is okay. But if you are adults enough to be having sex, you should be adults enough to understand consent. And if you're not sure, sit down and talk with them. If you're looking for, a cuddle buddy or whatever, sit down and talk to them and ask them, hey, what are you okay with doing? What are you not okay with doing? Because there's times where you can go from consensual to non-consensual if, let's say so-and-so was okay with making out, but nothing beyond that. Or they were okay with things in the vagina, but then all of a sudden it's in the asshole. And that is now rape because she didn't give you consent to do that. Like if I just went and stuck my finger in some guy's butthole, y'all guys would be pissed off. Y'all would be like, that wasn't okay. You better get that finger out my ass. But the moment it's a woman talking about like he forcibly put his fingers in my vagina, y'all are like, no, well, he probably asked for it, or like he probably got the idea, and there's probably miscommunication. There's no miscommunication if you ask. There's no miscommunication about moving someone's hand away to get them away from your ugly ass dick. There is no miscommunication with that. That is you choosing to ignore what someone is telling you and doing whatever you want to do anyway. I've already cussed in this video. I might as well keep cussing. So please understand consent. Do your research. You should not be having sex if you cannot understand the way consent works. All right? Now, for everyone out there, female, male, non-binary, etc., who has been through any kind of sexual assault or sexual harassment or rape or any kind of abuse, I'm standing with you 110%. Your stories are valid. Your feelings are valid. Do not listen to the other people who are telling you should have done this, you should have done that, you should have reacted this way, etc. Because all that's bullshit. People can talk a lot of shit until they're in that position, and then what? So don't listen to them. I'm with you 100%. I will always believe you. Times need to change where people start to believe survivors, male or female or non-binary. We need to start listening to each other and encouraging each other, supporting each other so that we can start tackling the issues that are problematic in this world that people haven't been able to talk about yet. And if a lot of you are like, well, why didn't she bring this up sooner? I hear that a lot every time someone talks about what they've been through. Well, just the other day, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, one woman who came out and talked about being assaulted by, I believe, another Hollywood character, her house was burned down by arson. It was ruled arson. So that's exactly why people don't come out and talk about things. And sometimes we build up the courage to be able to be open and honest about these things. It takes a while sometimes to get that bravery, and sometimes we think we'll never get it, but I promise you, you will get there. You may not be able to talk about it, and that is fine. That is up to you. Not everyone wants to or has to talk about it. It is not your duty to share your story with other people, but it will get better. You'll find strength in yourself. You'll find people around you who are trustworthy and who can stand with you and support you. So I'm with you 100% whether you want to share your stories or not. You are believed. You're not a liar. You didn't do anything wrong, and you didn't bring it upon yourself. So please don't beat yourself up for it because people are saying dumb bullshit, victim blaming crap. Alright, so that was a heavy video. I know a lot of you guys don't have time to be listening to all these videos, but this was definitely something that was important, and I didn't want to leave anything out. So if you didn't make it this far in this video, thank you for that. I hope you guys start to have discussions with, your peers and your friends, talking about what consent is and how to get consent appropriately and what doesn't count as consent. I hope that if you see people saying things that are non-consensual or making light of rape or they're victim blaming people, I hope you do the right thing and you shut it down. Yesterday was MLK Day. People only apply MLK to injustices that relate to racial issues, but it needs to apply to everything. He said fighting for justice. Not just racial justice, but justice all across the board. And that's what we need to do. So to the woman in this story, I support you 100%. And to the woman who's been through this, I support you. Anything you want, yeah, you can order.